You are in the baby steps of moving abroad. Where do you start first? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel. Hey, girl. Hey, happy Saturday morning to all of you. This channel is for Black women, solo travelers, and those who want to move abroad. Here we motivate, uplift, and inspire Black women to live the travel lives of their dreams. If that sounds like you, do me a favor, hit the subscribe bell. That way you won't miss any updates. And also don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and to comment on the video below. So let's talk about it, you guys. First of all, I want to give a shout out. I've got a lot of new Black women, solo travelers, new Black women who want to move abroad in this community. A lot joined from my social media channels. I posted on Facebook yesterday, and a lot of new folks are here. So, hey girl, hey, just hello. I am so thrilled to have you guys here. There are now, I think, like 80 plus of you all. So in this community, I am just eternally grateful. I'm glad that you guys are listening to me. I'm glad that you guys are just here and hopefully staying motivated and encouraged. I've got a new guest. My co-host here is Teddy. Teddy, look up Teddy. This is my road dog right here. Teddy is my dog who I have brought back and forth here with me. I brought him here with me when I relocated in January of 2023. Teddy went back home for a little bit and came back with me in October. So Teddy is here with me, so he's going to be the co-host. Hopefully he'll be quiet and have some act right, and he'll be on his best behavior. So I just want to, again, thanking all of the new folks who are here. I'm hoping this channel will be an encouragement to you. I'm hoping that someone said in the comments that the channel is planting a seed. And that's kind of what I want to really do for everybody, is to plant that seed. My seed was planted in 2017, and I just want to do the same for everybody else. Black women out here, I want us just to begin thinking about things differently, hopefully, to seeing the possibilities of living abroad. But where do you get started in that process? It can be overwhelming. Where do you start first? Number one, you're going to have to identify where it is that you want to move abroad. So the world is vast, y'all. It's big. The world is big. And there are so many places you can go. But you may not want to go all of those places. Some places are really good for U.S. immigrants or immigrants moving abroad. Some places are not. Some places have next to impossible visas to get. For example, Dubai is one. Dubai is a country in which many of us go back and forth to visit, all of that. But baby, you are not getting a visa there, okay, unless you are working. And that work visa usually comes with a whole lot that goes with it, okay? So it just really depends. Other places like Mexico are places that really give you a streamlined process. As a matter of fact, if you have visited Mexico from 2015 to maybe like 2021 or so, you qualify, from what I'm reading and hearing, you qualify for an automatic visa. So do your research, keep that in mind. Know that, have you a list of maybe your top 5, narrow it down to maybe top 3 of where you want to go. But this step, I promise you, is one that gets many Black women solo travelers and many Black women who want to move abroad. It kind of hems them up a little bit, because literally they know you, look sis, you know you want to go. You know you are ready to be out, okay? But you just don't know where to go. And so to make this a successful adventure for you, you are definitely going to have to figure out where it is, what country. You're going to have to probably do some scouting trips. I do not recommend that you move from your home or whatever you have in the U.S. I don't recommend you just move anywhere. You do want to go scout out your new area. Go as much as you possibly can before you make the big move. Take short trips, take long trips. different times of the year. If you're moving to a tourist area, go during tourist season, go during non-tourist season. Do you still like it? Do you still love it? But you have to identify where. It's great to have the vision of knowing, hey, I want to get out of here. I want to move from my home country. And those of you who are from the US, I know, like, y'all feel me here, okay? You just know, you're like, look, I don't know if Trump is coming back. I don't know what's going to happen in 2024. I just want to get the hell on out. I get it. Like, sis, I totally get it and I understand. But to avoid spinning your wheels, you're really going to need to figure out which countries are we talking about. Are we talking about the Caribbean? Are we talking about, Jamaica? Are we talking about Belize? Where are we talking about going? Having some general ideas in mind. Like, again, is it the Caribbean? Is it a country in Africa? Is it Western Europe, like me in France? Is it Eastern Europe? Albania, believe it or not, has pretty liberal, like a 1-year program. Not a program, but you can be in Albania for a year. Albania is not a Schengen country. So you can be there for 1 year as a U.S. citizen with pretty much no problems. Now, the problem is a lot of us may not want to go to Albania. So it comes not just where you can go, but where do you want to go? All of us have different interests, right? For me, I found my bliss here in France. For those of you, there are a lot of you who probably don't know my story. Some of you do. I moved here in January of 2023 at the age of 48. I had been trying to come to France since 2018. Since 2018 is when I said, I want to move here. France has been lovely for me. Paris has been a lovely adventure for me. I really did follow my heart. I came here at the end of 2017 as a widow. I had my husband of 21 years had passed away after a short illness. He was in a coma. And so going through that experience, it was one that changed my total life. And it is one in which I already knew that life was short, but I really knew life was short. And so when you are seeing someone taking their last breaths, when you are seeing someone that you love, suffer, you realize the impact of travel, and you realize that we only have one life. And if it's something that you want to do, baby, you better go ahead and do it. Enjoy this life while we have it. So for me, that has always been a big part of me and my traveling. I take him with me wherever I go. I have spread his ashes around the world. And again, it's just something that I was determined to follow my happiness. And so one of the things that we don't do on this channel, it really irritates me because I feel like sometimes in the comment sections, in the blogs and posts and things, there is often this tendency to tell Black women where we should go. And that's why one of my videos, No Travel Slander Allowed in 2024, I will post a link to that in the description. But don't let nobody tell you, okay, where they think you should go. A lot of times Black women are told, oh, you need to go to Africa. You need to be around other Black people. You need to be around other whatever. Don't listen to those people. You need to go where you need to go. And if it's Africa, great, sis, I welcome that. But don't listen to people who will try to tell you and steer and command where you're going. We don't allow that here in this community. The world is vast. If you go to Africa, I support you. Whatever country you go to, I support it. But don't, it really irritates me. Don't be out here telling Black women that we've got to live in this little box. That's no better than being in the US, to be honest with you. So we do not tell Black women where to move. If you've identified the country and you want to move there, if this is what makes you happy, we support it. Bottom line, we support it. Now, that's why you, in terms of as you're making this journey, as you're doing this, your reason why is going to be very important. Point number 2, why do you want to move there? So the immigration process If you're planning on spending any extensive time anywhere, it's going to cost you money and it's going to cost you some time. So you may as well move where you want to go, sis. Like you know if you want to go to Panama, you know if you want to go to Belize, you know if you want to go to Mexico, you know if you want to head on over to the UK or bump on over to Ireland or wherever it is. Make sure the place you want to immigrate is a place that you actually like and want to be. If you hate it, it is just not going to work out. It's not. So why waste your time making sure that the culture is one that supports your lifestyle and you as a person? There are some countries I myself would not personally move to, but you may love it. Okay. I personally will not move to a country that has really restrictive policies for women. For me, that's going to rule out a whole lot of the Middle East. That's going to rule out many countries in Africa, okay? Not all, but many. So know your why. Know why you're moving. Please ask yourself these questions. Why are you moving? Where do I want to go? Where do I see myself being happy? Also, don't forget the financial component. Listen, I would love to be in the Seychelles Islands somewhere or wherever. Right now, my income may not support that. So know the financial cost, the financial numbers and projections of where you're going. Do a cost comparison. For me here in France, the cost of living is anywhere from 30 to 50% lower than the US. So for me, it works out as a financial payday. That may not be the case in other places. If you're moving to, let's just say, the UK, baby, listen, you paying for cold, okay? You paying for a lot of cold and a whole lot of rain. And I don't get why it's so expensive. That's a whole nother story. But make sure you know, now there may be some of you who may love it. You may love it. That's why we're all different. We're all unique. Okay. What I may like, you may not. What I may hate, you may love. So we embrace, in this community, we embrace Black women, making our own decisions, deciding where we want to live, and just moving forward with action. So I just really want to encourage you and let you know that in terms of where you're going to move, why, looking at the financial projections. The last piece that you really want to focus on also is income. Many of these countries have income requirements. It's important to know that as you're doing your research, because how are you going to make money in your country? Are you on some type of pension, disability? What are the rules? Are you living off of your stocks and bonds? Are you working? Are you in a position to where you can work from anywhere? How will you make money? For a lot of us, when you're moving to some of these countries, especially if they are in some emerging economies like Mexico, for example, various other countries, even like Panama, the salaries are Italy is also another one that sticks out. The salaries are so low, you are not going to want to work for the salaries that most of them are offering. So it is good that you start thinking now about, how will I bring money in? What are the income requirements for a visa, if that's what you're going to get? But start thinking about that income piece. It's very important, because if you get a visa, these countries are going to want to know. They want to know that you are not going to be on the street and that you can pay your bills, okay? So they're not looking, many of these countries have a socialist aspect. They are not looking for Americans or otherwise to come on over and impact their social service systems. They're going to want you to be self-supporting. They're going to want you to add to their economy, not quote unquote take away from it. So that's a very important piece. I think that really we don't consider enough. You've got to work the income piece out. Unless you are independently wealthy, unless you got $500,000 in your 401k or whatever, maybe you don't have to worry about that. But there are a lot of people who do. So make sure you don't forget about the income piece. I cannot stress that enough, no matter where you are in your planning process. I'm just really wanting to encourage you, knowing that it may take you a while, But it's good to have an immediate plan. It's good to have okay, these kids gonna be out of school in 4 years, or all right, this one will be done with undergrad in 2, or okay, I want to move with my 8th grader when they go to high school, or whatever the case it may be. Giving yourself a time frame, because otherwise it becomes this, okay, I think I want to do it goal. And that it was like that for me for a very long time. I kept talking about moving to Paris, but I was not making any actionable plans toward moving. Not until the summer of 2022. And so within those 6 months, my whole planning and life changed. It's a lot of people who joined this community in the past couple of days. Like, some of those people didn't even know that I had moved full time. Sure, I was always in Paris, but they thought that I was, still living in Atlanta. So it's important that you give yourself enough time, but at the same time, create an actionable plan. We want this to be something that you are actually going to do. We don't want it to be like, oh, in 10 years. Anything can happen in 10 years. Anything can happen at any time. But I find that it's good when you give yourself some short-term goals as well as long-term goals. So while you are stacking your cash, while you are figuring out your income, while you are figuring out your why, while you are figuring out which country you want to move to, this is a time when you need to begin the planning. And then after you do those things, then it becomes more specific planning of now you know the country, now you know some of the landscape. It is going on those scouting trips. It is seeing if you like the city or the country. Maybe you don't like the north side of town, so maybe we're going to hike it up on over to the south side, or whatever the case may be. It is figuring out what it is that you like. I support that totally. There is no need for you to go from America to these other countries and not like it, baby, okay? You want to like it. You want to like the life that you live. I want you to like and to love, not just like, but to love the life that you live. We go through so much in the U.S. and we know it. We don't have to rehash that. We don't have to repeat any of that, but life is precious, and I am here for Black women doing it, living the lives that we want to live, taking off the capes. Sis. Like, moving abroad has really reinforced all of that for me. It is something that you will find you've got to be careful about who you even tell your plans to, because there are going to be plenty of people who ain't never been nowhere who are going to tell you that the country you're moving to, oh, how dangerous it is. Be careful who you share your plans with. Be careful who you're telling that you want to move. I'll be honest with you. Some people just are not going to understand it. They are not. They are like, well, I'm staying here in the U.S. and that's fine. This life is not for everyone. Some people will not move, and I understand that. Some people may travel extensively, and there are some people, and you got them in your circle. They are not going anywhere, but they will sit back and tell you how unsafe everywhere else is. And my response to that is, well, how would you know? Because you've never been anywhere. So don't let people discourage you. If you need motivation and encouragement, this is where we do it here. There are also many other Facebook groups. Exodus Summit is a great one. It's headed by my girl, Stephanie Perry. Stephanie is someone who I have listened to her YouTubes when I had moments of like, I'm not sure if this is going to even work. I believe there's enough for all of us here to eat. And so Stephanie, I'm always, shouting her out. Stephanie is the real deal. Make sure you check her YouTube channel out. Make sure you check her Exodus Summit community on Facebook out as well. But your Facebook groups, your Facebook communities are going to be your friend. Black Sit is another one. Really good supportive community. Just know that there are resources out here. There are people who are looking to do the same thing, and you need encouragement from them. Okay, you need advice from them, from people who've already done it, or people who are doing it, or people who want to do it. So be really careful and be really specific about who you go to for advice, or just even telling your plans. I'm a fan of telling them folks after you move, okay? Another reason why a lot of people didn't know that I had moved. I will tell you, baby, I'm here. I'm here. I'm not going to really tell too many people before. I will tell you after I've been here for a couple months, after I've been here 6 months, after I have been here for a year. Like, oh, by the way, girl, like I moved a year ago. So there are some people, unfortunately, you're going to have to do that with. Guard your heart and your travel dreams and your travel desires. I don't know any other better way to say it than that. But just know that finding a supportive community is going to be key. There are going to be perhaps challenges along the way, things you may need to figure out. Getting that support is crucial if you can't go to your family and friends, because sometimes your family and friends, they want to see you remain in the place that you're in. I know you from Philly, so why you from Philly, so why is it that you want to go to Turkey? Or I'm from Detroit. Shout out to my Detroit folks. 313, what up, though? I know you from Detroit, so why do you want to go to Denmark? Okay, so know that sometimes people like to box you in, especially when it comes to us, and put you in a little box. Sis, resist it. Okay, we only have one life. And it's important that we get out here and do what it is that we want to do, whether it's finding a workaround. Maybe you can't travel, maybe you can't relocate, but maybe you can spend your summer vacation somewhere else. Okay, winter vacation somewhere else. Maybe you can spend some extended time. Maybe you can work that time, that PTO and that time off, right? To whereas you're setting it up to where you're doing a whole lot of Friday and Monday days off. And especially around the holiday. That was my whole holiday hack. Okay, because that's how I came over here a lot. I would just do a holiday weekend. So it is figuring out what you can do. You crawl before you can walk. So that was me at one point. I was, coming over here all the time. I was trying to figure it out, and but it's a process. It's taking that vacation time. It's maybe negotiating more. So instead of 3 weeks, you start a new job. Let me see what they say about 4, because I know I want to spend at least 2 weeks out the country. Okay, it is just seeing life and doing life on our terms to the best of our abilities, and that's all that I really want to see for us. I want to see us live good lives. I want to see us live happy lives. I want to see us to live our best travel lives. So I have been mumbling and rambling on enough. Thank you guys for, again, being here. Thank you for being a part of this community. For those of you who have reached the end of this video, make sure you subscribe. If you have not already, don't forget, hit the thumbs up button, and I will see you next time.